The Rugby Championship returns this weekend. It's a Tuesday. We've got team news. The Springboks have named their team to take on Argentina this weekend in a massive round for the Rugby Championship. Is it a championship-defining round? Because be honest, who would have thought that this was going to be the table with 2 matches left to play at the start of the Rugby Championship? Australia on top, but it all so poised. The teams barely kept apart. It's been an unbelievable set of fixtures so far, and let's hope the last 2 rounds continue to live up to the excitement, the hype, the unpredictability that we have had so far. So welcome back. Rassie Erasmus has named his Springbok 23. What do you make of it? What are the key areas? What are the points of interest? As always, I'll talk through it as the things that I think are of interest, but let me know. Give me your views in the comment section. Like the video as well, and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel, and then you will not miss a thing. I asked the question, is it championship defining? It seems ridiculous to say so because the results we've seen so far over the last 4 match rounds have been so unpredictable that you think it's going to be championship defining, and then the total opposite happens to what you saw the week before, which is why it's so even. I suppose what you can say ahead of this weekend is it will determine whether a side has their future in their own hands, if that makes sense. If the Springboks win this weekend, they go into the final weekend in prime position to win the whole thing. If they were to lose, all of a sudden you feel like they're on the back foot again in terms of defending their titles. So it might not be championship defining because we've seen things change week to week in this year's Rugby Championship, but it is pretty key in terms of where they position themselves in the race heading into the final weekend. So the team itself, 2 changes, which I think is interesting. I'll get onto that. Eben Etzebeth and Damien de Allende come back in, and it's Lou de Jager and Apalele Fassi that drop out. Damien Willemse moves from 12 to 15. He was brilliant at 12, by the way. I loved seeing him at 12 in that game against New Zealand. But de Allende comes back in, another world-class operator, and Willemse moves to fullback, and then it's the changes in the second row. And there are a couple of changes on the bench. Bowen Venter comes in at prop, which means Wessels is going to be the hooker cover. He can play hooker. We mainly see him at loose head prop, and he was the loose head prop cover for the last game. But he's going to be the hooker cover, can also cover loose head as well, I guess. So Bowen Venter comes in, and then Morne Vandenberg is at scrum half. Grant Williams has an injury, and I think Grant Williams has been playing pretty well, but Vandenberg gets to add to his tally of caps. I think he'll be up to 5 when he comes off the bench now. I talk about the 2 changes. For me, the Springboks this year, before the incredible victory, the historic victory they had against the All Blacks in the last game, there were a lot of question marks over them. We saw Rassie chopping and changing. I don't know if it was more than he usually does because he often makes tweaks, but it felt like he was changing the team to try and find the level of performance they were looking for, whereas previously, I would say the Springboks changed the team because it feels like part of a wider, overarching plan, changes that are very much in control, whereas it felt more reactionary and looking for a performance. They got that performance. Oh boy, did they get that performance. So therefore, I feel like we're back to kind of tweaking the team and changes that are where Rassie is pretty happy with the team. I think it's one of the things I feel with off the back of that game. Those 2 changes tell us an awful lot about that All Blacks performance and tell us an awful lot about how it has been received amongst the Springboks themselves. That so many of the questions that were being posed at this team, rightfully, I think you could argue, based upon performances and result, but a lot of those questions have been answered. Everything just settles down. It came at the perfect time for the rest week to probably just breathe confidence back into a team that there were questions over, and their performances hadn't been anywhere near the levels they would have wanted. Came at the perfect time. I think this team news is a reflection of that. A team that is very, very settled. Couple of changes, but those changes are bringing in 2 players that are double World Cup winners, bags of experience in both de Allende and Etzebeth's case. So the Springboks in a pretty good place, I think. Oxenchain, Malcolm Marx, Thomas Tutoy, the front row. First choice front row, I think, at the moment, isn't it? With those 3 guys, Thomas Tutoy I've seen a lot of playing for Bath. He has been exceptional for them. Malcolm Marx, Oxenchain, what more do you need to say about both of those players, really? We've got Eben Etzebeth in the second row with Ruan Nortje, as I said already. So Nortje gets another shot. which is good. Obviously, you lose Lou Diaga, but he's been awesome so far. Sia Khaleesi, Peter Steff, and Jasper Wiese are your back row. And what else have we got here? So in terms of the back row, I mean, Sia Khaleesi, there were questions. I was questioning Sia Khaleesi. He was so good in that victory against the All Blacks. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Having Jasper Wiese back is pretty key, I feel, for the Springboks at the moment. We saw Khaleesi play there. Feels like they are missing something. They don't have him at 8. I don't think they... It's probably one of the few areas of this Springbok team that you would maybe question the depth at the moment is 8. I think when he wasn't there, they really missed him. It's just such a well-balanced back row with him back in it. Cobus Reinach and Sasha, 9 and 10. Went pretty well, didn't they, in the last game. Dialende and Kane Moody. Really exciting centre combination. And then Ethan Hooker, once again, still looking for his first try for the Springboks. I thought he played really well against the All Blacks. We'll see if he's able to get over the try line. Cheslin Kolbe and then Damien Willemse playing 15, as I say, moving from 12 to 15. It's awesome to see Willemse back, I think. I look back to kind of 22, 23, that run to the World Cup. He was one of the Springboks' best players. He's had injuries. He's been out the team quite a bit, but it's awesome to see him back more regularly. I hope we continue to, because he's great. And if you do have him plus Rassie, I think you're looking at your fullback options and being really confident as well, with your first guy and your second guy looking really strong. What that potentially means for Willie Leroux, who I think is training with the Boks, but as we've seen, isn't going to be taking part and is going to be going back to his club this weekend. You wonder whether he's not going to have too many more appearances in the Springbok jersey, but he's a 100 capper. He's had an exceptional career. But love that starting 15. Bags of experience, bags of quality. I suppose more of the inexperience in the back line. I mean, you've still got Kolbe, Willemse, Reinach, Dialende back in. But I suppose in particular with Ethan Hooker, Kane Moody, Sasha, that's probably the area of the team that you're seeing more development at the moment, I suppose. So then Wessels, Venter and Lowe, the front row cover, Snyman and Quagga Smith. Quagga Smith is just always there, isn't he? Like, he is the guy that gets relied upon so much. He can do so much. I know sometimes he has his critics in terms of some of the penalties he gives away when he comes off the bench, but he's the sort of player that I'd imagine every single international coach would love to have, because he can cover so many different positions. He is ever reliable, has an impact. So he's there once again. Morne Vandenberg, Marnie Libok, Andre Esterhazen. 5-3 again from the Boks as well. The team that brought in the 6-2, and you basically never saw them do 5-3. All of a sudden they're doing 5-3 more consistently, but it's working for them. It worked for them against the All Blacks. What do you make of that team, Springbok fans? Do you feel totally settled down off the back of that victory over New Zealand? Argentina are not an easy team to come up against. We've seen them challenge the Wallabies, challenge New Zealand. On their day, I think they can seriously mix and match it with everyone in World Rugby in this day and age. So not an easy side, but have you been settled down by that victory? I mean, it was such a great victory. The reaction on this channel, I know views were up and engagement, it sparked a reaction. The Springboks were excellent. So now are you expecting them to go on, win these 2 games and win the Rugby Championship? Or are you looking at Argentina and thinking, God, this is going to be an absolute battle? It will be a battle, I'm sure, but is it one that you think that Springboks 23 are going to be able to get past? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.